I'm presenting my poster on transient susceptibility to interference at event boundaries impacts long-term memory of naturalistic episodes. This poster, this research project is based on the observation that presenting unrelated input at event boundaries retroactively interferes with the memory of the preceding event, and the observation that reactivation of event content is thought to occur within 1.5 seconds after encoding. So based on these two observations, we first of all wanted to replicate this previous finding of retroactive memory interference, but also wanted to know whether this interference effect is temporally specific and whether its impact extends to retention delays longer than 20 minutes, which were previously tested in lab settings. For this, we tested 48 participants, and you can see the setup here. So participants encoded 100 unique movie clips across 60 trials in 3 different conditions. Either they watched single movies or they watched the movies in pairs. And in one condition, this paired presentation was immediate, so the second movie onset was immediately after the first. And in another condition, this onset of the second movie was separated by 2 seconds from the offset of the previous movie. And then participants got tested for memory in free and queued recall either after 20 minutes or after 24 hours. And we scored the recall data into remembered and forgotten with 2 independent raters, where the mismatched scores were resolved by a third rater, and we modeled the data using linear mixed effect models, and you can see more details on these models here in the methods section. I'm going to be focusing on the main results here. So here in this figure, you can see the free recall at the top and the queued recall at the bottom. In general, we see that participants remember the clips better after 20 minutes than after 24 hours, which is to be expected. But interestingly, we see that this retroactive memory interference also occurs after 24 hours. So our results were significant both for the 20-minute and the 24-hour group. And we see that in the queued recall, when participants viewed the first movie, so we're only looking at the first movie data here, if the second movie was immediately following the first movie, this was linked to a lower likelihood of remembering the first movie than when the first movie was just shown on its own, or when the first movie was followed by a 2-second delay and then the second movie was shown. So with this, we show that in queued recall, at least, memory interference seems to be temporally specific. So if it is the second clip follows the first immediately, then we see an interference effect, but if they are separated by 2 seconds, we don't see it. In the free recall data, it's a bit less clear. We do see this retroactive memory interference in the immediate second movie condition compared to the single movies, but the delayed second movie condition does not show any significant differences with either of the 2 other conditions. We then ran also a few other analyses that are here described on the poster, but overall, just to come back to the research questions, based on our data, we conclude that incoming information interferes with the preceding event if it is presented at the event boundary, but not if presented at a 2-second delay for the queued recall, suggesting that retroactive memory interference is a temporarily specific effect and that the time frame of this effect may be linked to reactivation of event content at event offset. Secondly, we also show that retroactively interfering with memory at event boundaries also affects memory at retention delays of up to 24 hours, suggesting that, indeed, it does span longer retention delays than the short delays usually used in the lab. And with that, I would like to thank you for your attention, and down here you can find my contact details for further questions, and I'm also happy to chat more at the EPS.